Welcome back, everyone, to Barber Motorsports Park here in Birmingham, Alabama. The rain has subsided. You can see that there's still a lot of standing water on the racetrack, but MotoAmerica has made the decision to race. Not all the racers. Josh Herrin decided to keep it in the pits. Roger Hayden will not be participating in this one either. We're not exactly sure what their decision is, and we're not going to speculate on that. All we do know is what's real is Roger Hayden, Josh Herrin, and Felipe McLean, the 349, are in the pits. So we're getting ready to go here. It's going to be 12 laps on this restart of this race. And once the light goes out, here we go. The final race of 2017, yet again underway. And off to a jackrabbit starts number 11.
Matthew Schultz, Tony Elias.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, Tony's going to squeeze underneath him, but
around the outside. Oh boy.
Yeah, Josh is, obviously Josh feels really comfortable in these conditions right now, and you got to respect the fact that that Raj and Josh didn't want to start. It's just a wet race now. I know that there's a little bit of standing water still, Greg, in a couple of spots, but they gave these guys 3 laps, a sighting lap and 2 warm-up laps to go look at the track to at least see how it is, because otherwise it's just simply a rain race is all it is now. They've done their best to try to make the track as good as it can, and you can see here it's very, very wet. Obviously we had a big storm come through here, and they've done their best to try to make this track as safe as they can, and right now it just looks like a wet race as Danny Eslick goes out almost into the grass. That wouldn't be a good spot.
Danny Eslick trying to keep it together as Jake Gagne might slide underneath him. So the Broster Chicken Honda rider, Jake Gagne, moves his way to 4th, Danny Eslick in 5th. And look at Hayden Gillum, who was on the podium yesterday in Superstock 1000, up in the mix as well. Behind him, Jake Lewis. And then WD-40's number 40, Jason DeSalvo.
And look at Hayden Gillum, he makes a big move. And Greg, when you're looking at what I'm seeing right now, these guys are still attaining lean angles. Look at Josh. I mean, the track doesn't look bad to me. Of course, I've been in this position before as a rider, where you're trying to make a decision if it's safe or not safe. But the track is remarkably better than it was. Hopefully, Matthew stays out of that big puddle there. That's the one spot on the track right now where there's still some standing water. But if you watch the lean angles that Josh has been attaining, the grip still doesn't look too bad here at Barber. And you got to feel like if Tony Elias, as much riding and as experience as he has, had it felt like the track was really too bad to race, he probably wouldn't have stayed out there.
Tony Elias on a streak as our new national champion, of course. In the races that he's finished, the 17 races he's finished this year, only 1 and 2nd place. And Matthew Schultz on the Yamalu Westby Racing Yamaha going up into 2nd spot. I was texting with his team owner, Chuck Giacchetto, a few minutes before this race, and they're very convinced that in these conditions that Matthew Schultz has a really good chance of winning the race.
Yeah, the thing that Matthew's got to do now, he's got 11 laps. The laps now are going to be a lot longer, and when you start to see where Josh Hayes is doing out in front, it gives you
Hayes feet. Sorry, Jason. Feet come off the pegs there. Big moment for Josh Hayes. Both feet came off the pegs in a bit of a moment, so we've seen a couple of moments from the rear end of his motorcycle.
And see how early they're tipping in off the back straightaway, Greg? It's because they're used to going in there so much faster than they are right now that they're trying to tip the bike in. You're going to see this is where he just starts to tip in. Yeah, and all that went great. That had nothing to do with the track. His foot slipped off the peg.
Yeah.
That's his inside foot.
Wet boot.
Just slipped off the peg. But Josh got to come around here and see +3 or 4 on his board, probably after 2 laps. And he's going to be able to pace himself off of that for the remainder of the race. And he's going to put the pressure on everybody else to try to do their best to try to run the pace he is. To give you an idea, that lap through, Josh, 39.6. He was a 2nd quicker than Schultz. And see, this is what Tony Elias does so well. He's going to let these guys get out just in front of him, and he'll learn off of them. And here you go, Jake Gagne running 4th, Hayden Gillum running 5th.
Jake Gagne, good conditions for him. A rider who really thrives on the feel of the track and the feel of the motorcycle. And in these wet conditions, with the soft suspension, it gives you that. Alistair Hugenbosom out of South Africa.
Oh, he got out on that puddle, and that was a big save. That's a little warning. That'll let him know that he doesn't want to get out there again on the next lap, Greg. And like I said, that's the one spot where we see some standing water. Josh is going around the curbs that we've been so accustomed to watching these guys jump over, but his pace, his speed is fast, Greg. I mean, he's rolling right along right now, and again, this is where his foot fell off last lap, and that was simply because he just slipped off the pegs.
And one of the reasons that Josh Hayes loves to ride in the rain is if you look at his riding style, it's the exact same way as it is when it's in the dry. The way he sits on that motorcycle, he doesn't have to make any adjustments. Now, you look at Matthew Skoltz, and with his set of leathers, his knee pucks they look pretty much the same as he runs in the dry, as does Hayes. Where when we get back to Tony Elias and take a look, one of the things I want you to note is he has like double thickness knee pucks on there. And that's because of the reduced lean angle that you would have in the dry, and Tony wants to be able to try to get close to that ground just in case something goes wrong.
Yep. Now when he came across last time, Greg, it was a plus 3.7. And it looks like Matthew's slowly starting to creep that down as he gets the fastest lap of the race, and it's down to 3.3. So Matthew is using Josh as a gauge, looking up ahead, seeing how fast Josh is going, and he's just got to try to push it just that little tiny bit more. But it's so easy to make a mistake. But look at the grip through there, Greg. There's a lot of grip on this racetrack.
Tremendous amount of grip. Now, where their lax grip, of course, is coming over those snakes, those sealers.
But even that, they're crossing over the sealer quite a bit, lap after lap. And to be fair, it doesn't look like it's upsetting things too much. So Josh now has responded a little bit on this lap, a little bit quicker in that first sector. He's got the fastest first sector split.
And that happens in these conditions. As the rain has stopped, the track is still wet, but the riders with each lap are starting to feel that traction, what it's giving them, and they're going to be able to go quicker and quicker as the race wears on.
You know who did the fastest lap of the race?
Nope.
Jake Gagne.
Oh boy.
Back there in fourth. So Jake is starting to feel his oats a little bit back there, getting used to these conditions, and that's really what it's all about. Is it's just a matter of getting used to the conditions and doing things consistently. And you can see Josh is he's consistently turning in too early for turn 11, and that's totally to be expected, because you're just entering there so much slower than you would if you were in the dry. So he's staying on that inside patch all the way through the 14, 15, 16 area.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to cross over those seams in the track as little as you possibly can while still going fast. Josh Hayes coming across the line. You can see a little spin from the rear end as he takes a look at his pit board. That's one of the greatest things about watching riders in the rain, is you can really see their eyes.
Skoltz gets it down to 2.8 seconds now, so these guys are coming, and especially Skoltz, and you can see Jake Gagne back there. He's still got Tony Elias in his eyesight, so he's going to do his best to try to close that gap also. And you know, the hardest thing about these conditions, Greg, is it's so easy to just get just a little bit overconfident. And you know, but right now Josh is just doing his thing out front. Skoltz is quickest in that first sector again, but only by a tenth.
Now, Jason, in these conditions, going from dry to wet, what are some of the things you're going to do as a rider that are different than you would do in the dry?
Well, I work, really, Josh in there a little bit deep into turn 6 there, so Skoltz is going to catch up to him a little bit more in this lap. But the big thing is, Greg, is controlling your brake pressures. How much you'd be surprised how much you can actually brake in the wet. Getting your downshifts done early so you can control your entry speed sometimes is it's going to help take a little bit of that pressure off the brakes. And look at Skoltz, he's coming now. He sees that he's getting away a little bit from Tony, and Matthew is still turning in a little bit later, like he would be in the dry in 11, and that's allowing him to keep some speed up. But the hard thing is in these conditions, Greg, is to find consistency. You want to be consistent in all of your movements, and you also want to be able to do as little movement on the bike as you can. You got to be able to load the bike. So if you look at somebody like Jake Gagne, you can see he's not hanging off the bike a mile. He's kind of centered on the bike a little bit more. You want to be able to load the bike correctly. You're minimizing your lean angles still, but now all four of our leaders are on this front straightaway. And look at Hayden Gillum. He's still back there in 5th.
So it's Hayes, Skoltz, Elias, Gagne, Gillum, Jason DeSalvo in 6th.
Gagne gets a little sideways as he enters turn 2 there.
Not scared. Danny Eslick in 7th, Jake Lewis in 8th, Bryce Prince in 9th, Kenny Reedman, the Canadian, in 10th, Bobby Fong 11th, Martin Bernacki in 12th, Alistair Hugenbosom in 13th, and Max Flinders rounding out our 14th. Hayden, Heron, David Anthony, of course, because of bike. Sylvain Barrier is injured, and Felipe McLean did not start this race.
Yeah. So, and the good thing is, Greg, is we've had a fairly safe race so far, and they're only 10 seconds off their lap times in the dry. Essentially, these guys are doing 26s, so we're looking at a fast lap so far of 37, and that last time by 37.5, 7.7, and a 7.2 from Jake Gagne. So he's still the guy that's kind of coming forward. on the rest of these guys, and we're just halfway done with this race. But you'll be able to see the difference in lines too. Like when they get ready to, this is all going to be kind of one line through here. You're going to see you'll see Matthew and Josh both kind of staying on the inside part of the track through here. But where you'll see a bigger difference, Greg, is when they go down into the turn 5 area.
Josh Hayes leading the way as Matthew Skulls. That is a Superstock 1000 motorcycles. The Yamalu Westby Racing Team is going to Superbike next year, but still on that bike. So closing in on the Monster Energy Yamalu Yamaha Factory Racing of Josh Hayes.
Yep, he's coming, and he just did 36.6. So again, Greg, these guys are definitely within a second of their times, or 10 seconds within their times in the dry, which is pretty impressive, you know, when you consider the amount of rain that this place just sustained. Jake Gagne just runs the fast lap of the race at a 36.5. So he's right on the back of Tony Elias now. You can see them back in the background, but you can see Josh kind of goes in there on the center part of of the 3 lanes that you kind of have, and Matthew's still running that wider line in there, which tells me that the snakes or the tiger teeth or the seams, if you will, you can see Matthew moved around a little bit there, but they're really not too bad. So, you know, Greg, the bikes are gonna move around in a straight line when they hit those seams, because those seams contain a lot of water. So that's why you're gonna see the bikes move around a little bit.
Things starting to tighten up front. Matthew Skulls now all over the back of Josh Hayes, and here comes Jake Gagne. That would be quite a thing for the Genuine Broaster Chicken Hondas. This is the Honda Championship of Alabama. Having a CBR 1000 RR stand on the podium would be awesome. Oh, it's Tony Elias. Woof.
That's
Big
a good
mistake.
save, though. See, Tony's so good about it. That's experience there. But look at Jake. He's doing his best to try to go by. He's not going to quite make it there. But Jake, Jake feels right now, I'm sure, that he can still see those 2 leaders, and he wants to get up to them. He knows he's going fast, but he's got to try to make somewhat quick work of Tony here. I'm expecting a move probably down in the turn 5 area. Both riders get out of this last turn fairly safe and well. They do. So first and second's going to have a battle right now, and third and fourth are going to have a battle right now also.
Jake Gagne getting close. At this point, you have to think, for being the rider behind, that you've got to just be patient. Let this race come to you. Hayden Gillum still circulating in 5th spot. That would be 2nd in the Superstock 1000 class.
Here's where we got to look. Is Gagne going to try to do something with Tony as they head down into turn 5? He is, Greg. He's up along the inside of him. He's going to get that bike in there and turned.
That's dangerous for Tony, because in these conditions, if he thought Jake was in there a little deep and tucked the front, both of them are out.
Yep.
But that's the racer in Tony. He doesn't want to give an inch.
That's what I love about Tony. He hates losing. I mean, he at this stage in his career, as many years as he's been doing it, I love it. Oh, Jake's a little bit wide. He's up over the curbs, but it's real hard for Tony to do anything there.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty risky move, because you don't have the ability to snatch that brake lever like you normally would. So Jake Gagne still holding on to 3rd spot. Skulls hanging back in the spray of Josh Hayes.
And now he's on top of him, though. And what Matthew's going to be able to do now is he's going to be able to sit behind Josh for a lap or so. Look at that. You see the sun's kind of poking out in certain places of the tracks. Kind of makes our pictures look really good. But yeah, Matthew's going to be able to sit behind Josh just a little bit.
Now this is going to sound a little bit weird, but with the sun come out, you know, a lot of these riders like to run full smoke shields because their eyes are sensitive. They wear sunglasses. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone's affected by that bright sunlight.
Correct.
In terms of their eyes and it bothering them with their vision. So
yep.
It's late in the day here in Alabama. Of course, it's right around, the time when the sun's getting ready to go down. So
Correct.
that sun peeking through the clouds can be nice and low as well.
Yeah, and it can create glares and things like that. And what that does then to you is it makes the track look differently. Look different. Sometimes you can see puddles in spots when it's darker out than you can if it's sunny. So it can definitely create glares. Now, Tony's latched on the back of Gagne. I'm looking to see right now Tony Elias, quickest first split. So this is what he does so well. He's still sitting there.
Just tense moments for the Genuine Broaster Chicken Honda team, looking at their rider in 3rd spot. Josh Hayes continues to stay off of that paint. Wants to steer clear of the paint.
Big drive by Skulls there out of the museum corner. So he's definitely opening up lines a little bit more than Josh right now. And this is a spot where they head down that back straightaway. Skulls is having to look down the inside.
Oh, they nearly touched. So Matthew Schultz now takes over to lead. The Superstock 1000 rider, the national champion, leads the way in the rain. This is incredible.
Yep, this is a great ride. You know, some would say the Superstock bike might be a little bit easier to ride in these conditions than that of the Superbike and Josh Hayes, but with electronics on both bikes, he's definitely got a little bit of advantage on the initial hit as far as the acceleration goes. And there's his crew. Everybody's clapping right now, but we still got 3 laps to go. And in these conditions, you know, anything can happen. They're already starting to see a few back markers here in front of them. So don't forget, Greg, this guy was on the ground, you know, an hour or so ago on our last start. This is going to help. This is going to help Jake Gagne a lot right here. This is really going to help Jake.
That's Fly Racing, Motul ADR's Alistair Hugenbosom. We saw him earlier, almost nearly lose it coming through that puddle on the front straightaway. So
and here comes Jake Gagne. He's trying to go around the outside of Josh.
Oh boy!
And right now, Josh is fighting back, but Gagne just leaned on him just a little bit, and that was that. Now Josh is going to have to deal with Tony Ilias. So we've got a couple guys, Greg, first and second right now, who haven't led Superbike this year. I don't believe I've seen either one of these two guys lead Superbike races, and we might get a new winner.
Wow! So we're looking at Matthew Schultz. Yeah. Rub your eyes. This is the way it is in the rain. The great equalizer. Matthew Schultz, Yamalu Westby Racing Yamaha. Jake Gagne on that genuine Broaster Chicken Honda now in second spot. Monster Energy Yamalu Yamaha Factory Racing's Josh Hayes in third spot, but he is being hounded by Yoshimura Suzuki, reigning national champion Tony Elias, as Tony closes right up on the entrance to that corner with a drive. Tony's going to go side by side, and he'll take the spot for the moment.
And you know, this is all set up. You know, Josh did the donkey work up in the front. He let those guys see how much grip there was out there. And, you know, he took off and ran with the lead, and it just gave everybody a lot of confidence. But if you're watching right now, Gagne's bike looks amazing in these conditions to me. His bike looks probably the most stable, although you can't say that this guy's bike looks unstable. But Matthew, for sure, has had a couple of little snappy moments. But this is where you just got to be extra smooth. You asked me earlier also, Greg, extra smooth on the throttle all through here. Max Flinders goes a lap down, gets out of everybody's way. But we got 2 to go, Greg.
Yeah, that's it. Time is running out for the Honda of Jake Gagne. He's getting closer, but in these conditions, this isn't one of those conditions where you can just gobble up 2-3 tenths a lap. It's really difficult to do that on the brakes. It all has to be done across the board on acceleration, mid-corner speed. And right now, Matthew Schultz on the precipice of winning his first overall Superbike race win before he even goes full-time as a Superbike rider. This would be the big boost that the Yamalu Westby Racing team needs, as they have support from Yamalu, based just down the street in Georgia. Matthew Schultz, the South African. Boy, what a way to put a cherry on the season if he could do this. But one rider who wants to spoil the party is Jake Gagne.
Well, we've talked about Jake a lot, and these two guys are both incredible riders. Ooh. See, that's what I mean. Matthew's bike's a little looser than Jake's. Jake's going to see that, and that's going to give him a little bit of confidence, because that Honda looks like it's handling superb right now. And he's close enough, Greg, where you know he's going to have some ideas of what he wants to do with Matthew down in turn 5. The problem is he hasn't got his bike gets a little bit loose. Jake hasn't had a lot of laps behind Matthew to really study him, but he's close enough right now. If he can close up through this turn 1, 2, 3 complex, he might be close enough. Yeah, see, Jake's bike backed in a little bit there, and that kind of messed him up just a little. That's,
oh no!
Gosh, then we didn't want to see that for Jake Gagne. That's such a shame. I saw the bike back in there on him, Greg.
Yeah. Jake Gagne down and out. Here's the replay of it. Backed in just a little bit right there.
Yep.
He tips it over, gets on the gas, and away she goes.
So basically, Greg, he knew he gave up a little bit on the entry, and he wanted to just try to get off that corner with Matthew, and just a tiny little bit too much gas. But now this guy, he's probably going to see that he had +1 or +2 on his board, or +0 on his board, but now he's got +1 or 2. So all this guy's sensors are going off right now, Greg. This would be a huge victory for him.
Matthew Schultz, his team manager texted me, said he can do it. They're looking forward to the restart of this race in the rain, as Schultz has got something special, some great feel on the motorcycle, and he's got Tony Elias behind him, so Schultz has got to keep it nice and tidy. As we know, this rider, you thought he was out a few laps ago.
What can you say about
I
this
mean,
guy?
he's going to have this streak.
Oh,
no,
man.
Skoltz! Does he save it? Does he save it?
Oh, no,
again!
he's still doing it again.
So Skoltz pushing hard to the end of this race.
Oh, he's got to just chill.
Are you kidding me, Matthew? Calm down a little bit. Final corner. Can he make it out of this one? To the checkered flag he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, a Superstock 1000 bike takes victory in Superbike here at Birmingham, Alabama.
Man, and
my heart's in my throat, JD.
Hats off to all these guys. They went out and proved that the track's not that bad as conditions-wise. Look at Tony. You can see Tony smiling underneath his helmet. Huge victory for Matthew Skoltz, Chuck Chicano, all those guys. Congratulations to them all. They're both getting to go have a look at Jake Gagne. Look at that. That's pretty good sportsmanship by those guys there. Jake Gagne wasn't able to get his bike back going, Greg.
Jake Gagne, even though he crashed there in that last lap, still happy for his friend Matthew Skoltz. What a result here today. We also have Josh Hayes on the podium. Hayden Gillim will be fourth, the second Superstock. Look, a lot going on. We'll come back after this. Don't go anywhere. MotoAmerica on beIN Sports was presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, the only motorcycle tires designed, tested, and made in America for how you ride. Welcome back to an interesting day here in the MotoAmerica Superbike Pizzazz Superstock 1000 class. Take a look at these little wobbles.
Catch that white line, still tipped in. Now, he saves that, probably thinks, oh my gosh, I just gave up all this time. And then he does this. So I bet, I'm hoping Chuck is still alive down there. Probably had a little tiny heart attack there.
And Trey Westby.
And Trey. And the whole team. You know, and, but they could be, they're going to be known now as the first Superstock team to win a Superbike race.
Here's a look at the results as Matthew Skoltz wins it by 1 second over Tony Elias, who kept his finishing streak alive. He only finished either first or second when he finished all year. Josh Hayes gets to stand on the podium. Good for him. Hayden Gillim will finish second, his best result in Superstock 1000, and by far, his best result in the Superbike class as he is fourth. Jason DeSalvo, a good boost for that WD-40 team. We hope to see WD-40 back in the paddock. Eslick, Bryce, Prince, Lewis. Here's the final standings in the championship. 410 collected by Tony Elias. That is a heap of points.
Yep. A lot of points, a lot of consistency. You said it, Greg. First and second in all the races that he finished. Hard to beat a guy like this doing it like that.
So congratulations to Tony Elias and obviously Matthew Skoltz on his, not only his Pizzazz Superstock 1000 championship, but also the race win. Jason, your closing thoughts on the season.
I think our series is good, and we got a lot of great riders, Greg. Great to have Tony Elias over here. We crowned a new KTM champion in Benjamin Smith, who I expect good things from. And of course, Garrett Gerlach, wherever he ends up, I hope he's successful. I've had a blast this year being a part of the beIN Sports crew again, Greg. Thanks for being my partner in crime. And I think our series is only going to hopefully get better. MotoAmerica's doing a great job.
I love it. Outstanding work by everyone here in the series and the riders alike. And what a season it has been for Hannah Lopa and Jason Pridmore. I'm Greg White. We want you to enjoy an outstanding rollout as we celebrate the 2017 season for MotoAmerica right here on beIN Sports. Going to go on, and then we're going to have race action underway as soon as they go off. The hammer's dropped and we're on our way to turn one, and it looks like a good start.
Going to kick some butt. I think that's, was that the definition of a butt kicking?
It was pretty good.
If If you have a seatbelt in your lazy boy, you better fasten it right now because this Superbike race is getting good.
If I don't pick up the bike, you finish on the grass like this. But not on the bike, on the grass, like this.
Here he goes. He's up side by side they go. Tony Elias now with the lead in the race.
If you want to continue playing hard, I will play clean, but I play hard.
Here we go down the bottom of the hill. It's Beaubier with the lead. Tony Elias getting sideways. Oh, it looks like Cam Beaubier is going to take the win.
I respect you, you are a incredible player. I will try to do as possible and hope you will.
This race weekend was unbelievable. We crowned 2 champions in the Superbike and Superstock 1000 class.
Really, it was such a great moment for me.
Rod's going to go do a lap on his brother. And it's going to be a great way for us to be able to find a little bit of closure. I know that a lot of us were at the test in Pittsburgh when this happened in the heat while we were in Italy, and you can see the amount of support of everybody going down the pit lane.
I've been wanting to win real bad. Dedicate the race to my brother Nicky. So it comes from here on.
Garrett Gerloff pushed the grip to get to the checkered flag, and he will take the win. Garrett Gerloff in Supersport was the dominant rider by far.
Amazing seeing what Garrett's doing right now. We're seeing somebody who's just got everything connected. The team's working great, bike's working great.
And yes, Josh knows how to entertain.
Right, here you go, guys. You can have that oiled up boot if you like, with my sweaty socks.
Just barely missed that drive I was getting, and I think that's what let him squeak past.